myself. And the lies the mirror fails to hide or tell. My beating heart and my splitting sails are betraying me, turning my virtues into vices. Like water into wine, I'd rather be genuine, a cynic than a hypocrite living a lie. What is time in the eyes of the dying man? When I leave, I'll be not here a second chance.
If you're new to the channel, I think a bit of backstory is in order. And if you've been around for the long haul, who doesn't love a good flashback to where it all really started?
So what's the news, guys?
We just sold the camper.
We did what?
Sold the camper.
We sold the camper.
In 2018, we sold it all and hit the road full-time in our 4Runner and Turtleback trailer. The goal was to drive as far north as possible in both Canada and Alaska. To our surprise, our adventure resonated with a lot of folks, and honestly, that's one of the reasons why we're here today, traveling and telling our stories with you here on YouTube and even more on Patreon. In 2021, we were invited to come back to Alaska by our soon-to-be friends Craig and Brooke of Alaska Overlander. On that trip, we borrowed one of their rental rigs, a 4Runner named Denali, and spent 10 days experiencing Alaska from several different perspectives that embodied the Alaskan lifestyle and pastimes. We camped at multiple epic spots, fished in secluded crystal clear Alaskan lakes, kayaked to the toe of a glacier, and stood on land that was previously covered in ice for thousands of years. We tried our hand at salmon and trout in the Kenai River, explored the historical Kennecott copper mine, panned for gold in the heart of an old gold rush stream, flew over ancient glaciers, and even landed on the top of an ice field for an impromptu snowball fight. And most importantly, we spent time as a family making memories along remote Alaskan trails. Today, we've returned yet again to this beautiful, mysterious place to see what new secrets she holds. And I have to say that with each trip, we find ourselves more in love with Alaska, and few places excite us more to visit than this vast land. So ride along with us as we explore more of its back roads and landscapes in our third expedition to what feels like the edge of the world in this last frontier. Our story picks up in Anchorage, where our now good friends Craig and Brooke picked us up from the airport and invited us into their home for a few days while we staged for our 3-week-long adventure. Once at Craig and Brooke's house, we were introduced to our new home away from home. Say hello to Nanana, a 2021 Toyota Tacoma with the perfect array of accessories to make our travels enjoyable without being too loaded down with heavy armor. This will be our first time in a Tacoma, and we're stoked to see how it fits our family. Be sure and subscribe so you can see the upcoming walk-around video where Craig goes into detail on all the bits and pieces that make this rental setup a good match for Alaskan adventures.
See the video of the bear in the backyard this morning?
Oh, yeah.
That was crazy. Could you imagine going out to play on the trampoline and seeing that dude?
I freaked the heck out.
After a couple days in Anchorage, it was time to hit the trail. And this time around, our focus was just that, trails. Now, you might think one would have a limitless pick of unpaved overland adventures here in Alaska, but the truth of the matter is, there are fewer roads and trails in this massive state, which is 2.5 times bigger than Texas, than all the roads in Delaware combined, which is the second smallest state in the Union. That means that finding routes can be a challenge once you venture away from the typical attractions like the Dalton or Denali highways. And so, we headed into the bush with the proverbial key to some new lands to explore in the form of a camping permit purchased from the surrounding native corporations, which is going to allow us access to a lot of new trails and campsites. It wasn't long before we found this permit to be worth its weight in gold as we drove alongside a beautiful Alaskan river with our pick of empty wild camps along its banks.
Want to cross that, Caroline?
Hard pass.
Hard pass. Another unique challenge in Alaska, specifically in the summer months, is knowing when to stop for the day, since there's almost 24 hours of usable light this far north. Add to that incredible views and a strong case of curiosity, you're going to find yourself driving into the wee morning hours without even realizing it. And so, after navigating a couple sections of flooded trail, which thankfully had solid rock bottoms, we finally called it quits for the day and whipped up a quick meal before getting some sleep. What deliciousness did you make?
Beef stroganoff.
What? Oh, nice and easy. All right, well, good morning, folks, and welcome to Alaska. That's right. Stumbled into this mediocre-ish, I'm just kidding, amazing campsite last night with this incredibly fast-moving river. Alaska's been getting just pummeled with rain, so we're doing our best to avoid the worst of it, the worst of the flooding. While this one is on the edge of its banks, it's not dangerous, so this is where we are. And from here, we head further north. So let's get some quick, fast breakfast in us, get on the trail. What you got for breakfast, Mama Bar?
I slaved over the bran of raisin with crunch.
You brand it and raisined it yourself?
I did.
And added crunch. Look at that.
I did.
Woo! Hey, when you're in Alaska, you got better things to do than cook, right?
Yeah, that's something that we specifically decided this trip was that we didn't come to necessarily eat. We came to see and do. And so we're going to be eating a lot of convenient food and Mountain House.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, they're delish.
Yeah. Want to ride it?
What?
You get a boat and ride down that?
Nope.
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 Ceremonial pouring of the coffee. So while this has been my first real attempt at filming since we got here, we've actually been in Alaska for about 3.5, 4 days. And before we hit the trail, my good friend Craig and I went on a halibut and salmon chartered fishing trip, and it was phenomenal. So let's just, while we're eating breakfast, we're gonna roll that for you right now so you can kind of see how that all shook out. No pastime goes hand in hand with Alaska like fishing. For millennia, the people here have relied on fish for sustenance to carry them through the long, harsh winters, and that reliance continues to this day. Now, sport fishing makes up a huge part of the draw for tourists, and it's easy to see why, once you get over the 6-foot swells, that is. Today, we're after 2 species, halibut, and then later, salmon. In the past, I never was much of a fish eater, But after our first trip to Alaska in 2018, where I had the chance to have my first proper meal of fresh halibut, my taste buds haven't stopped craving its flaky deliciousness, preferably deep fried with a bit of lemon juice on top. And so when Craig suggested a guy's trip to go after some of the freshest available, I bit. Hook, line, and sinker. Halibut are crazy looking fish. They're born shaped like any other fish with traditional symmetry and an eye on each side of their head. But at just 6 months old, they rebel against logic and morph into a bottom dweller with one eye wandering its way around the body to join the other as it lies flat on the ocean floor, which is a perfect way to camouflage itself from larger predators while making it a sneaky attacker itself when smaller prey comes along. Halibut can grow to enormous sizes, with the official world record standing at 459 pounds.
Oh, look at that.
While a monster of this size would be a welcome fight today, we instead found a school of the perfect eating size, which are called chickens by Alaskans. I guess that's because they taste most like the flightless fowl. Maybe Chick-fil-A could have an actual competitor if an enterprising Alaskan gave it a shot.
Another one.
Since our limit per person was 2, Craig and I threw back several after landing our initial catch in hopes of a toad. Sorry, that's a Tennessee saying for a big fish. But in the end, we settled on a couple chickens to round out our catch.
Green.
Thank you.
Another picture?
Yeah, I'll do one.
Tail.
Yeah.
Same size.
That's same size. What you gonna do? Time to eat.
Salmon.
Time to eat. Salmon time.
Then it was on to salmon. Now my first attempt at salmon in 2021 was a bit of a bust since the run was dying off when we fished in the Kenai. But today, I think I finally found redemption.
Oh, yeah, buddy. He's a fighter. No, you lost it. Worth it, all right.
Oh man, that was awesome.
Your fingers. Oh.
Oh, almost got out.
There he is.
Boy, tell him. The pig. You want to keep that towards your stick?
After a couple of hours of jigging, I had caught my limit of 6 beautiful silvers. And honestly, could have reached that limit sooner if I hadn't lost about that many after some ferocious fights and missed strikes. A huge shout out to Puffin Charters of Seward, Alaska for the trip of a lifetime, alongside some of the most beautiful coastline in the world.
I've been walking down this road, on my own, on my own. I've been searching to find my way, to find the path you've been traveling on.
With our first official camp complete and packed down, it was time to head for another lesser-known trail with rumors of a couple historical sites at its end to explore. Oh, and if you're ever interested in traveling our routes or seeing our collection of campsites, then head over to lso.link/support, where we share this invaluable information with our supporters. As we were making our way down the trail, we stopped dead in our tracks and all gasped in unison at what we saw. A gorgeous lynx, staring back with that timeless 1,000-yard stare.
Oh my gosh.
I can't believe it. I didn't know what I was looking at.
Oh my gosh. We just freaking saw a lynx. Do you know how hard it is to see a lynx, much less like a bobcat or a mountain lion? The elusive, the lynx in the wild. Not in some zoo or someone's backyard where they're acclimated, just driving around the corner, there's a lynx. I almost did not get to film it. The camera was taking its precious time to boot up. I'm like, come on. And it disappeared. We eased up to the edge, and there she was, or he was, just looking back at me. Just those eyes, those 1,000-yard stare eyes, like incredible.
She caught you for sure.
Incredible.
So unreal.
All right, Alaska's off to a great start, y'all.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's all downhill from here.
Oh man. Woo, we can go home now.
Yeah.
Bye.
See ya.
See, it's over.
Hey y'all, we're just getting started here in Alaska, so do us a favor and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss upcoming amazing episodes of our North Country adventures. And if you really love what we do, then consider joining us at lso.link/support, where you can help fuel the adventure, quite literally, while getting access to all kinds of extras to help you plan your own adventures. Until next time, stay curious and remember to leave it better than you found it.